If you're in the market for a well-balanced sports sedan that offers an appealing combination of luxury and speed, it's pretty hard to beat the Audi S5. When this nameplate first came to the States back in 2008, it became an instant hit, a true alternative to something like the BMW 4 Series. Now for 2025, Audi is finally introducing an all-new third generation. As you can see, this is a comprehensive redesign. We're talking about an all-new platform, more power under the hood, a more distinctive design on the outside, and a brand new interior with their latest infotainment software. So today, Audi has actually flown me out to Newport Beach, California, because we're able to see the new S5 in the sheet metal. And now that we're finally doing so, let's go ahead and take a detailed first look. So here in America, we've been waiting about a year for Audi to finally bring stateside the all-new version of the A5 and S5. As you guys know, Audi is completely discontinuing the A4 nameplate in the States, and this model will essentially replace that vehicle, and that's because the A5 family has been the best-selling four-door car in Audi's lineup for a few years now, so it kind of makes sense. However, you should notate that the two-door versions are gone. You can only get it as a Sportback. Now, before we start talking about some of the changes that Audi has made, I want to first show you guys, of course, what's going on the outside, because as you can see, the look of this vehicle is certainly much more distinctive. First of all, my particular test car is painted in this new color called Magnet Gray. This is actually a free color. It's a matte, or it's a flat color, so it doesn't have any of the metallic sparkles in it. You can see the headlights of this car have definitely been enlarged and also slimmed out. You can see these are the company's full LED headlights with an OLED design. You also have a digital light signature where you can actually change out the daytime running light look to 8 different styles. You can see it also includes a dynamic turn signal. You have LED low and high beams, which I believe are also adaptive. And it also flows very nicely into the new enlarged, significantly wider Audi single frame grille. You can see the S5 that I'm showing you here has the Edition 1 package, which includes a unique, finish in the grille with this kind of silver with the black. It's kind of like a combination of their black optics package. You have the anthracite Audi rings along with the S badge there in the grille. And you can see the front design of the bumper. The front bumper has a much more distinctive air inlet, which as you can see on the Edition 1, it kind of has like a silver / gray look to it. If you guys go for the black optics package, that'll black it out. The front also has the cameras, of course, and sensors for the adaptive cruise, which is standard on all versions. And you can see there are some functional air intake openings. And overall, you can really see how much lower and wider this vehicle is compared to the previous generation. Audi says it's around 0.5 inches wider, but it's also around 1.5 inches taller. And that's because Audi basically said they wanted to give this vehicle more headroom and more interior space to kind of help people who are trying to look at an SUV decide between this vehicle. Now, I actually want to show you guys what's underneath the hood really quick. And to do that, let's go ahead and pop the hood. As you can see, it's just a single pop, unlike some of its competitors. But once you lift this hood, this model that we're showing you here is the S5. And what the S5 essentially comes with is a V6 turbo engine. Now, the base A5 continues to use a 2-liter turbocharged TFSI 4-cylinder, making 268 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. This V6, however, gets a nice upgrade in power. So it's a 3-liter turbocharged direct injection TFSI V6 double overhead cams, and it makes 362 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. That's an increase of 13 horsepower and 37 pound-feet of torque compared to the previous generation. It does lose the 48-volt mild hybrid system that you get in Europe, and of course, I believe in the previous generation, Audi says for the US market, they decided to scrap that technology in order to, reduce the cost and the complexity. It all goes out through a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, so that replaces the old 8-speed automatic. The company's signature quattro all-wheel drive system is standard, with a sport rear differential as well as standard. Fuel economy is 1928. Audi claims this model is good for 0 to 60 in around 4.3 seconds, and it has a top speed of around 155 miles an hour. Now, the curb weight of this vehicle has increased to around 4,200 pounds, so it's heavy, but not the heaviest vehicle in this segment. So overall, as you guys know, this powertrain should be the sweet spot for a lot of enthusiasts looking to basically have luxury and speed. But I want to close up the hood and let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the styling for this vehicle, because I want to move around to the side profile. As you can see, The new S5 has definitely gotten larger this year. Its overall length is around 190 inches long. It's around 2 inches longer than the previous generation. Its wheelbase is also 2.5 inches longer at just shy of 114 inches. This particular one that I'm showing you here has the Edition 1 package, so you have a really interesting looking and very intricate 20-inch alloy wheel. These are essentially the same wheels that you get with the black optics package, but instead of the kind of darker gray finish, you got kind of like a bronze undertone to the actual inner spokes, which looks nice. The S5 includes larger brakes with red painted calipers. This being a prestige model also includes their adaptive damper system. The suspension in general is around a few millimeters lower, or I'm sorry, maybe like 30 millimeters lower versus the regular A5 in general. You can see the Edition 1 also includes black painted mirrors, so it's kind of a combination, again, like I said, of the black optics package and the standard model. The standard version will technically have silver mirrors, which are aluminum mirrors, which are basically a Audi S signature. These are power folding integrated turn signals with cameras throughout. You can see that it also has their new badging nomenclature here, where it also says Audi S5 in the actual B pillars. This panoramic glass roof offers a electrochromatic frost and defrost, and you can actually do like a light control, which is kind of similar to what Porsche does. Unfortunately, that roof doesn't open up to vent air, it just lets in light. And then moving over to the rear of the vehicle, you can really see the added height of this vehicle. In fact, with 1.5 inches of additional height, it almost kind of reminds me of something like the Toyota Crown, where it gives you the additional head clearance. But again, Audi wanted that to give you more space on the inside, which is something that buyers in this class, I believe, have been asking for. Now you can see with the S5 having a rear lip spoiler on the back that's black painted, it certainly looks nice. You also have their next generation, second generation OLED taillights, which Audi says, I believe there's like over 270 different individual LEDs in the back. You can also create your own digital light signature back here that's customizable. It's linked to the front. The turn signals, as you can see, are also dynamic. And you also have the badging here, S5, of course, with the new Audi anthracite rings, which is growing on me in terms of the design. I really appreciate the aggressive rear diffuser, which, as you can also see, this car has actual exhaust tips. Now, the S5 has always had that, and the company also says that they've tuned the engine to sound even more mean this year. So let's go ahead and fire it up. You guys can hear how it sounds. And even though the rev limiter is low, I really love the pops and the crackles that you get from the exhaust. Now, of course, this car looks like a sedan, but it's actually a Sportback, but Audi technically doesn't call it a Sportback anymore. And that's because, as you can see, it offers a lot more cargo capacity. In fact, this year with the increase in the dimensions, you get around 22 cubic feet of storage space back here, which is a little bit more than last year. It certainly offers a big wide opening, of course. This little cover also comes out if you guys want to pack stuff up to the roof. If you fold down the seats, which it looks like there is no remote releases back here, they fold down in a 40-20-40 manner. Audi says it expands the cargo to around 37.7 cubic feet of storage space, which is definitely more than what you're going to get from a lot of its rivals. I also appreciate the storage off to the side. You also have some underfloor storage over here, which, as you can see, there is no spare tire for this vehicle, but it looks like the 12-volt battery might live under there. But overall, if you guys are basically looking to replace your sedan or your SUV, of course, you want to go back to a sedan, this certainly makes it a little bit easier because of the increased cargo capacity. Now, moving on to the interior of this redesigned 2025 Audi S5. Before we get inside, however, let me show you guys the key fob. You can see this is Audi's latest intelligent access fob. It's a slightly different design versus the previous generation. You can see it has the new Audi ring logo, although it's kind of just been painted onto the actual key as opposed to being a separate emblem. It's a nice size key with the new Audi S logo on the back. Audi also offers their digital key functionality. I believe this is the first time you can get that, where you can use your smartphone as a key, either Android or Apple. But you get your usual buttons here for lock or unlock, lock, pop open for the power hatchback, and then a panic function. As you can see, as you approach the door handle, you can see the door handles are also brand new. These are essentially a flush, flush style door handle where you stick your finger in here and there's a little pressure pad. If you want to lock the car, there's a little area here where you can touch that. That'll lock the doors for you. The mirrors will also electrically fold if you have that set to do so. And when you want to unlock it, there's a little pressure pad. Just touch that pressure pad there, and that will unlock the door when you have the key fob on you. Now looking at the interior, as you can see, my test car has a really classy color combination. It's the magnet gray on the outside with the Aris red premium Napa leather interior that you get on the inside. So this interior is included when you guys go for the Prestige package. The seats themselves also look really incredible. I love these sport bucket seats with the S logo here, which also illuminates in the actual front seat backs. I love the contrast kind of gray stitching that you get with the diamond quilting. These seats also, I believe, adjust in 16 different ways. They are heated, ventilated, and massaging. The massage function also is nice, and I love the fact that Audi now offers ventilated seats. It's standard on the Prestige trim. It's not like an a la carte option, and they don't limit you between the interior colors, although Audi only offers either a black or a red interior. There is a blue and gray interior coming at a later date, but sadly we don't have that to show you guys, at least for now. So I'm liking how Audi has expanded the color options on the inside, which is something that I definitely complained about in the previous generation. Now looking at the door panels, you can see there are some pretty nice materials, but I'm also noticing a little evidence of cost cutting here and there. But as you can see, the upper door panel has a soft touch injection molded plastic with some faux contrast stitching, which is nice. The door handle here feels a little plasticky. I don't love that, but I also like the design here with the kind of wraparound that merges up with the dash design. This is kind of like a matte gray finish. You have some Alcantara here and that RS red, some genuine carbon fiber trim here, which is nice, padded here with more of that Alcantara. The window controls, they have a nice high quality tactile feel with the satisfying Audi click. You do have some touch controls here for the headlight controls, which have been moved from basically the stock onto the door panels, along with your window controls here. Your memory seat controls are also here, and individual child seat controls or child door lock controls back here, which I really appreciate. Down here, there is a hard touch plastic material. This also feels a little bit like it has a harder edge, but it offers some good door pocket storage there where you can fit large water bottles and whatnot. The pedals, as you can see, are aluminum. You have the new Audi steering wheel design, and of course you have their latest infotainment software. Now getting inside, you can see the step-in height is also low, as you expect for a sedan. As I shut the door has a very solid sounding thunk, which adds to that impression of quality. I also forgot to mention there's like a textured plastic material here, which feels a little bit cheap, but it definitely adds a little bit of a unique look to the door panel. Now starting the vehicle up, you can see the start stop button is right here in front of the shifter. And this vehicle is not a hybrid or a mild hybrid, so it has a traditional starter noise. And the engine actually sounds pretty quiet, especially when you first get into it. It doesn't really scream that you have a performance version. If you put it into dynamic, you can hear nice little pops and cracks, and it actually makes itself pretty known here in the inside, which is definitely a nice little touch. Now looking at the rest of this cabin, you can see the infotainment system has been hugely upgraded in here. So this is basically part of their digital stage cockpit infotainment system, which combines basically an 11.9-inch instrument panel display that's all digital. And then over here in the center, you have a 14.5-inch display. Now this, of course, now runs on Android Automotive. It has wireless over-the-air updates. It's a big improvement over the 10-inch display in the previous generation. It also includes wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Sadly, my phone is not connected right now because I'm using it to film. And then over here, if you guys go for the Prestige package, you'll also get a 10.9-inch display for the passenger, which the passenger can basically pull up the GPS function over here as well. You can access the music information, go to the home page here, and you can also put your smartphone information over here, which is pretty cool. Most of you probably might use it to watch movies, or you can also play video games. This has a privacy filter. When I put the vehicle into drive, it blanks out the screen, so I can't actually see it there. So kind of keep that in mind. That's there, of course, for safety. This screen software I've shown you guys before in the new Q6, and it certainly looks impressive in here, although I'm still not quite the biggest fan of the unused real estate on this side and on this side. Audi says they've went with the curved display here that's OLED because it allows them to have better functionality where you can essentially reach every quadrant of the screen, even if you have shorter arms and whatnot. So that's all very nice. The climate functions have now been moved into the screen. You can basically pull up this menu here that brings up all your different climate. There's also a comfort assist option where you can talk to this vehicle, and you can basically, tell things like, hey Audi, my feet are warm, and it should be able to, redirect cold air to your feet. You can see there's also a quick access control over there. Your heated steering wheel is located here on the screen. It's also on the steering wheel as well with the touch sensitive controls. Your heated and cooled seats are located here. Audi also lets you turn on both. A lot of the German brands or European brands allow you to do that as well. And you can see, going back to the actual app display, you can see there's all these different sources. It's pretty easy to use. It's also a little overwhelming at first, but once you kind of get used to it, and you have it all set to your liking, it's relatively easy to use, and I love how it's within easy reach. Now the steering wheel, some people have expressed their dislike for the new steering wheel with the new Audi logo here. I'm just kind of getting used to it. Audi in general has been making big changes like that. It's kind of something that they needed to do. The wheel itself does have a power tilt telescoping function. It has a flat bottom and a flat top design. You also have a heads-up display on this Prestige model. I don't love the paddles, which feel like cheap plastic. I would have preferred an alloy pedal. Your adaptive cruise control settings here, you can actually adjust the way this looks, although I have to say it's not quite as intricate as the older system, where you could actually put the full GPS display over here. I believe you can still do so in this interior. You can go to a different kind of view there and pull up your navigation function, but again, it's not quite as cool looking as the previous model, so something to keep in mind. It's also a tiny bit smaller as well, but this screen is much larger, and that's again what I think a lot of people were looking for, is kind of going with a much bigger infotainment display. So I think that's really great. You can see the Google Earth there. The map display looks incredible. With really nice detail to it. It's basically almost like a computer in the actual screen, so that's something that I think people are going to appreciate. Your air vents, as you can see, are a traditional style where you can basically manipulate the airflow from this little tab. You can also close the airflow from there, so I appreciate that's not digital. You have Alcantara over here, along with a soft touch injection molded plastic up here, although this has a kind of a cheap plastic feel up there, which I don't really love. Down here you can see larger wireless phone charging pad, and it's well positioned, 2 USB-C charging ports, lots of piano black plastic here, which I don't love. And then your drive mode selector is here. You can go between basically 3 modes: comfort, dynamic, and balanced. And I really like the new graphics. This is your little controller to control the 7-speed dual clutch. Push it forward to go into reverse. You can see it gives you your full 360 camera function with really excellent quality and resolution. You can also go to a washer. You can also go to multiple different views if you guys would like to kind of do a perimeter scan around the vehicle, a top-down view. That's standard if you guys go for the Premium Plus trims and up. It's optional on the Premium trim as part of a convenience package. Nice padded center console, as you can see. Decent storage in the center console area with some LED lighting in there. As well, which I like. The seats, like I mentioned earlier, comfortable and supportive. And if you want to activate the massage, there's a button on the seat. You can see there's basically 3 different types of massages with 3 different intensities. It basically inflates and deflates the bolsters. I will say that Audi's larger products offer a better, more intricate massage, but it's still nice that that feature is there. It's included with the Prestige package. The glove compartment, you can see, is pretty big. It's damped and it's lined with felt. Offers additional storage, which is always great. There's a nice padded area here, along with that beautiful matte carbon fiber that actually has some really nice textures to it. So overall, the interior certainly makes a big, lots of upgrades in terms of tech. Nice first impression. It might be a little overwhelming, especially if you're coming from the previous gen, but it's something that Audi has needed for quite some time. But let's go ahead and hop into the backseat area of the new S5. As you can see, the back seat does offer a little bit more legroom. With that increase in the wheelbase, you get an inch more back here at around 36 inches. You can see in terms of the door panel materials, they are carried over from the backs or from the front seats with that soft touch injection molded plastic, more of that plasticky gray trim over here. You can see there's a manual retractable shade that's included on the Prestige package, nice padded over here, and it's hard touch plastic over here. If you want to fold down these seats, you can obviously do so by pushing on that. You can see it creates almost a flat low floor, which is great. And then getting back here, you can see Audi says you have around 36 inches of legroom back here. 36 inches is certainly a pretty generous amount, especially for a vehicle in this class where cars, a lot of them have around an inch to 2 inches less. You do have 2 USB-C charging ports, rear seat air vents. You have 3-level heated seats along with a tri-zone climate control function. No cooled seats back here. You have storage cubbies in each of the front seat back pockets, and you can see there's also an armrest that folds down and gives you 2 cup holders, which is nice. And then, of course, with the increase in the headroom, at 5'7", I actually have a good maybe couple inches, which in the previous model I had to duck my head to get in. I don't have to do so on this model. And as you can see above me, that panoramic glass roof has their kind of adjustable electrochromatic shade, which you can also kind of do a really cool pattern. You can also do like from the front to the back to completely frosted if you guys want some light in the front but not in the rear, for example. So overall, the backseat area in the interior is certainly a big upgrade, and people who are taller are going to really appreciate the extra space back here. So with the automotive landscape just oversaturated with SUVs, it's always really pleasing for me to be able to show you guys an all-new four-door sedan type vehicle. So after finally getting a chance to see the all-new 2025 S5 in the sheet metal, I have to say, for those of you who are skeptical about the look of this car online, wait until you actually see it in person, because I actually have always loved the way the previous generation S5 looked when it first came out in 2018. I thought the design was very timeless and elegant. Audi made it better over the years, although at the same time it was starting to look a little bit boring. This, however, definitely freshens things up, and it also gives the car a much wider and taller appearance to it that I think is going to continue to age well. Audi tends to do a really good job in terms of their exterior designs. The engine also, I really love the fact that Audi has given it more power, although while in this video we weren't able to actually drive the car, be sure to come back on June 18th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we'll be posting a separate video that includes full driving impressions, and we'll talk a little bit more into detail on how this vehicle rides and handles as well. In terms of the interior, the new software and the new infotainment system is definitely a big improvement, especially if you guys are techies, which Audis in general have always been leaders in terms of technology. They were starting to fall behind. This definitely brings them back into the forefront, even though I do miss some of the elements of the previous generation, namely more just the actual hard buttons that had that satisfying click feel. The backseat space and the trunk space is among the best you're going to find, and that makes the A5 and S5 again an appealing alternative for those of you who really don't want to drive around in an SUV, because if you're looking to get your hands on this vehicle, they are just now heading to Audi dealerships with a base price for the A5 four-door. Essentially, there's no more coupe or convertible, starting at around $49,700. That price increase is pretty significant. It's around a few $1,000s more expensive versus the previous generation. If you guys want an S5, however, it's going to cost you at least $12,000, starting at around $62,700. That's a whopping $5,000 more versus the previous generation S5. Now, of course, with all the increase in technology and luxury, some would say an increase in price is warranted, although it is a little bit excessive for me. Basically, if you guys want to step it up to the premium plus trim level, you're gonna have to spend $4,000 more. The prestige version is gonna start at around $70,000, and this edition one that I'm showing you here is just over $73,000. $73,000 is definitely a lot of money. However, keep in mind, a comparable BMW or Mercedes equivalent is also gonna be over $70,000. So Audi's kind of keeping the price in line with its competitors, but just know that if you guys have the previous generation, you might be dealing with a little bit of sticker shock, because for $70,000 for this model, that used to be, you know, the same money you could buy like an A7 or just a bigger sedan, or like an A6. However, as you guys know, everything's gotten much more expensive, so Audi is essentially kind of keeping pace with all of its rivals. But overall, I think the company has done a fantastic job with the look of this vehicle, the technology, and it certainly offers an appealing combination that should be able to convince buyers who are basically on the fence between a car and an SUV. And this essentially offers you that kind of practicality of both, while giving you that lower sedan step in. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my detailed first look overview of the 2025 Audi S5. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.